Howdy folks, and welcome back to War Thunder with the mighty Jingles. I'm having trouble coming up with a suitable introduction for this video because I just do not know how to pronounce the name of this aircraft. It's the, I'll have a go, and my apologies to France if I almost certainly get it wrong, the Dewoitine D.520. I'm just going to call it the D.520. I really have no idea how that name's pronounced. This was France's most advanced fighter aircraft at the outbreak of the Second World War. Well, that's not strictly true. At the outbreak of the Second World War, none of these were in service. And by the time Germany invaded France, only 36 of these were in service. But they were good little aircraft. They were considered to be the match of the Bf-109E3. Couldn't match the Bf-109's top speed because it had an underpowered engine, but it had the edge in manoeuvrability. Although the Bf-109 was able to maintain turning better than this little thing, because the Bf-109 had slats in the trailing edges of the wing. This thing was very manoeuvrable up to the point when you hit the stall speed. And if you were in a tight turn and your speed reached that critical number, this thing had a nasty tendency of spinning off into an unrecoverable spin. But it wasn't a bad little aircraft at all, by the standards of the time. The chief competition were the Hawker Hurricane, the Spitfire, early variants, and of course the Bf-109E. And it did compare quite favourably with them, even if it wasn't quite as good. Hang on a minute, what's a Zero doing in the Swiss Alps? War Thunder arcade battle. Yeah, this is a ground strike map. I got sick and tired of pressing the return to hangar button with the constant ground strike, ground strike, ground strike. No domination matches whatsoever in the rotation. I thought, oh, screw it, I'll play this one. What's the worst that can happen? Yeah. Anyway, that guy that you just saw up above me in the Wellington, V-Venter, I'm trying to fight my natural instinct to go after the bombers here, and unfortunately I managed to fight my natural instinct to go after the bombers, and not killing that Wellington costs us this game. And yeah, that B-25 is actually going for me, so screw this. At this point I just decided, you know what, I would spend the rest of the game climbing to altitude trying to shoot these guys down. The second I get up there they're just going to a dive anyway, and screw it. I am going to have fun in a ground strike map. I'm going after the fighters. Let the bombers do their thing. The game's going to be decided by whichever team has the most bombers anyway. There's very little a fighter can do about that, other than get as many kills as you can in order to at least come out of it with a decent score. Who wins has got nothing to do with the fighters. So I'm going after some easy kills, like shooting blanks here in the Lag 3, and it appears that he doesn't even know. It's like he hasn't even noticed I'm going for him. And I do like it when you pick out a target and he doesn't immediately put his plane into a head-on pass with you and you both end up dying, so that was nice. Now there's a MiG-3 below me. Where was he? He was dangerous. He's just shot somebody down. I'm keeping an eye open for him. There he is, he's back over there. Fine. I'll go after these two A-20s. We've got a P-39 down there who's working them over. While we're closing in, back to the D520. This sits in the British aircraft tech tree. It's in the colours of the Free French, with the Cross of Lorraine on the fuselage. You get it in War Thunder by buying the D520 starter pack on the official War Thunder website. It will cost you just under €10. And with that you get the aircraft, a week of premium account, and 500 golden eagles. And you know, it's not a bad little aircraft. It's very well armed for the time. There's a 20mm cannon in the nose firing through the propeller hub. I've just shot this guy's rear gunner, so this is now quite safe. And there are two 7.5mm machine guns. Now you see that? I was emptying the machine guns into that guy's engine. No hits whatsoever. Why is that? Well, those machine guns are in the wings, and I was too close to him. I wasn't actually hitting the engine. The shots were going to either side of it. P-39's opening up on him. I've critted it. You can hear that old Oldsmobile 37mm cannon going off there. Thud, thud, thud. Legendary American test pilot Chuck Yeager once said that firing that 37mm Oldsmobile was like tossing a grapefruit at the target. Little Yak 7, sneaky little bug. He's coming after me again. Okay, well, the P39, and we've now got an LA5 going after him as well. Oh, it's nice to have wingmen. You get 10 seconds of firing time with the 20mm cannon. But you get 30 seconds of firing time with the 7.5mm machine guns. It's got 4 of them. And... come on. Come on. Yeah, you're not so brave without your friends, are you? Oh, cannon's empty. Machine guns are still up. Peppering him with machine gun fire, but it's only 7.5mm machine gun, and I'm going to need to kill this guy quick before the guy on my tail shoots through me to get him, and I got him. Cannon's back up again just in time. Check back behind me quickly. I wouldn't have put it past that guy to team kill me for stealing his kill. It is War Thunder arcade battles after all. Now I've taken a lot of damage, so at this point I really just want to take as many of them down with me as I possibly can. This game's going to be over soon. There's another 0. Put some shots in, duck, weave, and I'm not going to try to turn with a 0. This thing's manoeuvrable, but it's not that manoeuvrable. There's an IL-2 coming up. Put some shots into him. And again, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I critted him, which was nice. Hit his right wing. There's a lag 3 coming in. My cannon's empty. It's reloading any second now. I'm going to die here. And the cannon's back up just in time to scare the piss out of that lag 3 pilot. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's not a bad little aircraft. Not a bad little aircraft at all. Anyway, and, oh wow, kill surprise, they said. A little bit of French there. It's a French aircraft. Ah, see what I did there? Ho, 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 ho. Listen very carefully. I will say this only once. Okay, enough of the crap French. I am so in trouble with all my French subscribers now. I've jumped into the Spitfire Mark IIB. This was the contemporary aircraft of the D520. By April of 1940, all of the Mark I Spitfires in operational Royal Air Force service had been replaced by the Mark IIA or the Mark IIB. The only difference between the two was that the Mark IIA was all machine gun armed and the Mark IIB substituted 2 20mm Hispanos for 4 of its 7.7mm machine guns. One man who had the opportunity to test both the Spitfire in all of its variants and the D520 was the legendary Captain Eric Brown of the Royal Air Force Establishment's Captured Enemy Aircraft Flight. Captain Brown had the following to say about the D520. It was a nasty little brute. It looked beautiful, but it didn't fly beautifully. Once you get it on the ground, I was told not to leave the controls until it was in the hangar and the engine stopped. You could be taxiing toward the hangar, sit back, and suddenly it would go in at a right angle. You'll have to indulge me if I start getting all patriotic about Captain Eric Brown. Not enough people have heard about him. He is the Royal Navy's single most decorated living pilot. That's right, he's still alive. He's 95 years old. Born in Leith, Scotland in 1919. He's in the Guinness Book of Records as having flown more different types of aircraft than any man in history. He's officially listed as having flown 487 different types of aircraft, but aircraft like the Spitfire and the Seafire are only listed once. He's flown 14 different versions of the Spitfire and the Seafire, so in actual effect he's flown over 500 different types of aircraft. He also holds the world record for the most carrier landings completed successfully. 2,407 aircraft carrier landings, to be precise. The man is an absolute living legend, and if Captain Brown says that the D520 was a nasty little brute, then shut up and don't argue. The D520 was a nasty little brute. The pilots did like it, though. but you did need to be good to get the most out of it. One French pilot who did get the most out of the D.520 that he flew was Pierre Gloin. He got his first 2 kills in 1939 and early 1940 while at the controls of the Boomerang Saulnier MS-406. Later on, his squadron was re-equipped with D.520s, and after Italy's declaration of war on France and the Italian Air Force commencing bombing raids, he shot down 2 Fiat BR-20 bombers on the 13th of June. 2 days later, he and another pilot attacked 12 Fiat CR-42 fighters. He shot down 3 of them, his wingman shot down another, and on returning to the airfield, he shot down another CR-42 and a BR-20 bomber. 5 aircraft kills in one flight earned him an immediate promotion to second lieutenant. Unfortunately, things then started to get a bit more complicated. Due to the military situation with France about to fall, on the 20th of June 1940 his squadron was withdrawn to Algiers in Algeria, and when the armistice was signed between France and Germany and the subsequent British attacks on the French Navy, all the French forces in North Africa, including his unit, came under the control of the Vichy French government. Later on, his squadron was moved to the French colony of Syria, and in June of 1941 Allied forces, including some Free French units, attacked Syria and Lebanon. On the 8th of June 1941, Gloin shot down his first Royal Air Force fighter, a Hawker Hurricane. By the 5th of July, he claimed 5 Hurricanes and a Gloucester Gladiator. Throughout his career, he shot down 18 aircraft, 4 German, 7 Italian, and 7 British. This gave him the 4th position among the leading French flying aces of the war. It was definitely a complicated time to be a Frenchman, particularly if you wore a uniform. During the Allied invasion in North Africa in November 1942, French fighter squadrons based in Algiers did not oppose the Allied landings. Soon all the French forces in North Africa ended up siding with the Allies, and in May 1943 his unit was rearmed with P-39 Airacobras. On the 11th of September 1943 he was flying on patrol with another pilot when he started to develop engine problems. Returned towards the shore, but then his engine stopped. He tried a forced landing on the shore, probably forgetting that his Airacobra still had an underbelly fuel tank attached, which weren't used on earlier French fighters. The fuel in his plane exploded while trying to land, killing him instantly. He was 30 years old. He does remain the most successful D.520 pilot of all time. As always folks, watch your 6, and I'll catch you next time.